Hello, my name is Geogen and welcome back to World of Tanks. So, following my T-34 replay, I have one in the M103. It's tier 9 this time, but we're still keeping with the American heavy theme. Now, the M103, at first, I thought was okay. And, you know, even now I still think it's not really my preference for tier 9 heavy tanks, but it isn't a bad tank, certainly from the front, and definitely its turret armor is very good, with a few exceptions. The gun, 120mm, 258 penetration, same as the T125. It's a good gun. The only difference between this version and the T125's version is worse accuracy, worse aim time, the soft stats pretty much. That's the main improvement at tier 10. So we find ourselves in a tier 10 maximum game, 5 tier 10s on each team, but that's not going to be a huge problem for the most part. Can we get a shot on that 1390? It's not 1390, it's 57. We managed to get one in for 394, just slightly below average. Gun depression is quite good of this vehicle. Again, I believe it's 8 degrees, I could be wrong. But elevated positions on ridge lines, again, much like the T-34 and other American heavy tanks, this thing does quite well at. Lower plate shot into the T-10 there, no problem at all. And the reload time is at stock anyway without any equipment, about 10 seconds, maybe 11. But it's definitely under 10 seconds with my crew and equipment setup. We bounced 2 shots so far, but one does go in from the Tiger or the Ferdinand there with those 128 guns. Of course, the Ferdinand has the weaker gun of the two, but their fire is mostly ineffective, especially if they hit the upper plate. The upper plate, of course, being much stronger than that of the lower plate. The lower plate penetrated quite easily here and here. It's about 113mm of effective armor. I don't think I've ever been penned in the upper plate, and especially not along the beak armor here, where the two plates connect. Because we are already angled in terms of the armor is already angled, we don't need to angle it in a certain way. I mean, you can over-angle to extend the effectiveness of the armor, but it is doing quite well for us, and this gun is just plugging away at bare flattish armor, especially on the Ferdinand, and it goes down. 2,700 damage done so far. There is artillery in play, a Conqueror gun carriage, and additionally we get hit in the side by a WZ-120. But he only hits us for 277, which is quite fortunate, as WZ-120s can use 122mm guns, which could cause me quite a few problems. Probably him again, bouncing on our upper plate. There he is. We do see him for a glint there, or a glimpse of him rather. There he is again, but I think this gun has 0.35, 0.34 accuracy, and I'm not going to chance it, even though we may well have hit. So, the enemy vehicles have disappeared from our sight, so we can push over this over this ridge rather. Ridge? Over this bridge. On mountain pass, of course. We're in the center of the map right now, and hopefully we can get some rear shots on several enemy vehicles, including E100s and M103s. There's that WZ from earlier. Aim time failing us there. Oh Christ, there's an M103. We managed to pump a shot through his track armor and bounce a shot on the side of the turret. Now I did mention the turret armor is okay. It's quite good in places. Just take that guy down first. But there are some weaknesses, of course. We managed to get tracked there with no damage taken. Now the M103's armor is good on the sides, on the front of the mantle, etc. Weak on the cupola, and weak slightly above the gun. And additionally, this rise here. From the side it's more apparent. The vehicle's turret slopes up like this. And here, where it's a bit flat, can be penned by tier 9s, 8s and tier 10s. But like all American tanks, the side and rear armor is very bad indeed. So always keep your front towards the enemy. We keep getting spotted, and there's a Conqueror who may well get a shot on us, so we're going to take off quite a large amount of his health. Unfortunately, Conquerors have The gun carrier, anyway, has quite a lot of health for artillery. I think it's the most hit points in that class in the game. Looking for a shot on the E100, not going to take it just yet. We get spotted by an AMX 50B, and again, side armor failure there. Not facing that WZ, so he does put another shot into us, but that's only 2 damaging shots so far. Up to 4,300 damage done as well. So we go to chase him, but we actually straighten our armor out and reverse back, keeping our strongest armor towards the enemy. There's E100. We're very lucky as that E100 fires heat and it hits our tracks. 334 pen on that gun. However, here's a 50B. We managed to get 1 shot into him, but as you can see at the bottom left, he's firing exclusively APCR, which means without an extreme amount of armor, 325mm is going to cut through this M103, especially if it is shot down from above. The turret of the 50B is quite high, so it mitigates the strength of the upper plate. So we get taken down, and that's the end of our game. 5,097 damage done in 14 hits that we saw. So, not a bad result at all for the M103. Shame about the end. We'll just take a brief look at the post-game stats. So we did end up losing that match, but it was still a first class Fire for Effect ribbon earned, 70,000 credits, 1,709 experience with premium, and obviously we didn't win, so it wasn't ×2. High caliber and tanker sniper. Team score, we came top on the team on damage, and 3 kills for us as well. 729 base experience. Obviously that 50B did quite well. Probably firing quite a lot of APCR, but I don't actually know. It's probably just a spurious thing I've just said, so it could be true, it could be not. But basically, people who fire clips of APCR when they don't really need to is kind of like the equivalent of people firing clips of heat when they don't need to in their T57 heavies. Although, once upon a time, the heat pen was astronomical compared to what it is now, even though it is still very, very high. But, you know, the question of heat and APCR and gold ammo in general is something we could talk about in another video, and people go on a great length about it, but I'm not going to go and do so here. 16 shots fired, 16 hits, 15 penetrations, 5,457 damage, 2,600 from more than 300 meters, 18 hits received, 6 penned and 12 non-penetrations, mostly on the turret and upper plate. Almost 4,000 damage blocked by armor, so the armor is quite strong until APCR is fired in it anyway, like most vehicles. 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 damaged and 3 destroyed, 1,000 spotting damage, and the rest of the stats you can see for yourselves. So, there was the M103 on Mountain Pass, the Tier 9 American heavy tank. Not a bad tank at all, but I think I prefer my E75. Tell me your thoughts down below, and as always, I've been Geogen, and I'll see you chaps and chapettes in the next one.